How you doing, guys? Yeah, back in the day when I was still one of Jehovah's Witnesses, had gone out in service a couple of times with this mega mouth. I mean, this guy loved to tell you everything he knew from A to Z. I figured he had an inferiority complex. The guy lived in the insight books, which to me was kind of pointless because Watchtower changed the teachings so much that how do you know if you're right or wrong? Well, we were in a car group one day. He and I were in the front, and the girls were in the back. And now the subject of the Nephilim had come up. Now it was always to my understanding that the Nephilim could not reproduce. Okay, enough said. You leave it at that. He started proceeding talking about how the Nephilim had no genitalia. Well, Vinny was never one to mince words. And I usually said what I thought. And I said to him, well, no wonder why they were so pissed off. Well, it kind of silenced the girls in the back, but actually that's not the subject of this video, but I just wanted to put that out there. Got some information from a viewer today that I kind of wanted to shift direction on. This was a video I actually was planning on doing, but this is kind of going to be leading up to it. I think it was 2010 heading into 2011. This is just prior to my starting to fade. I really didn't have a lot on the organization at this time as far as their criminal activity and their satanic background. I had some issues with them, but nothing major, nothing to walk away about. Well, I had certain responsibilities, nothing great at the Kingdom Hall. They like to call them privileges, kind of like cleaning the toilets. But I was working the sound booth a couple of times. Well, never failed after the meetings. The kids would surround me. Reason being, they knew Vinny had candy. So, there they were. Well, okay, they got the candy and Vinny excused himself and walked away from the sound booth. I figured meeting's over. I don't need to be around it anymore. The kids now had taken over the sound booth. Meeting's over, so everything's turned off. That's fine. But every kid in the Kingdom Hall was there. What do kids do when they all get together? I don't care if they're JWs or not. Kids are kids. Well, they started playing with the phone. I noticed it, but not my problem. I was sitting there heading on my way out the door, jibber-jabbering with people as I'm leaving. I looked over. One of the kids had the phone up to their head, and I saw this look of hung up the phone immediately. And I'm like, okay, they're making prank phone calls. Okay, fine. Well, didn't think anything of it. Still heading on my way out the door, saying goodbye to everybody. About 5 or 10 minutes passes by. Police show up. Okay. I knew immediately what happened. Okay, they called 911 and they hung up the phone. Okay, when the police get a 911 call and nobody answers, they are still obligated to check it out. Well, the way the elders were charging around the Kingdom Hall, you would have thought it was a bomb threat. I looked around, knew what the kids did, knew who did it, but Vinny wasn't your typical JW. I don't rat people out, so I'm thinking, well, this would be a good time for me to leave. So I did. Well, a couple days later, I guess I thought the issue was long forgotten about. It wasn't. What I didn't know was that Vinny had been implicated in that 911 call. Apparently, Jehovah's Witness kids don't know how to do such things. Somebody had to have told them that. Well, I got to the meeting. A couple of the elders approached me. We'd like to talk to you afterwards. I'm like, yeah, okay, sure. I didn't think anything of it. After the meeting, it was mentioned. Well, we know one of those kids called 911 that brought the police here. And I'm like, well, that's pretty evident. And they says, well, somebody had to have showed them how to do that. And you were working the sound booth. Okay. Registered what they were saying. And I says, so you think Vinny taught them how to make a phone call, 911, or a prank phone call or whatever? And they're, well, kids don't know how to do that on their own. I'm thinking to myself, my brothers and I were doing that when we were 10 years old. Yes, they do know how to do that. Well, they said to me, we'd like to talk to you. And I was really, really ticked off. And I says, well, I'm leaving. Talk to my butt. So I walked out. I was highly insulted that they thought that. I didn't figure I owed them a yes or a no, but just to be asked that, So I went home. Mind you, this was weeks prior to my being mocked. Different things led up to my being mocked, which I'll go into in my next video. But I was pretty ticked off. I was just kind of really insulted about this and some other things that had happened. And I let it go, walked away, never mentioned it again. I figured maybe one of these kids will come forward. Never happened. To this day, it hasn't happened. Oh well, screw them. Well, a couple of years went by. An acquaintance of mine had hooked me up with, I don't know if you've ever heard of this, prankdial.com. These are pre-recorded prank phone calls, and they sound so authentic. If you send the right prank call to the right person, they literally think they're talking to somebody. Idea popped into my head. I hadn't forgotten about that little 911 incident. So I had the eldest numbers, and I sent them each a prank call. It was hysterical because they fell for each and every one of them. I'm sorry I never held on to them, but this was years before I ever thought I was going to have a YouTube channel because I would love to have played them. They were classic. I sent one to the coordinator of my congregation. His by far was the best. I'm sorry I don't have it. It was classic. Well, a couple of years ago, I remembered this prankdial.com. Mentioned it to a few coworkers. Guys, I work with a very ornery old woman. She has got the disposition of a Wolverine with a toothache. Very ornery. We got the idea of sending her one. This one I did hold on to. It is classic. Guys, I'm going to play it, but I'm going to warn you, there is some rough language towards the end. So if you are sensitive to language, you might want to turn off the video now. However, it is classic. God help me if she finds out my channel and hears this, because she doesn't even know this is in existence. But if you don't see Vinny anymore, that's why. Anyways, guys, I'll be back in a few minutes. Mind you, she fell for this call hook, line, and sinker, but you have to hear this. I'll be right back.
Hello? Hello. This is Kathy Sanchez from the Credit Card Fraud Division. Yes. How are you doing today? Good. Great. We were alerted of several unusual charges on your account. Do you have a moment to speak? Oh, yeah. Hold on a second. For the past week, there have been unusual charges.
As in what?
Are you aware of these charges?
No, I am not. I only use that
For
card.
example, on Sunday, there was a purchase of $276 for a hotel room in Guatemala.
Oh, hell no.
Were you in Guatemala recently?
Oh, yeah, right. I work 80 hours a damn week. 7 days a week I work.
On Monday, there was a purchase of $432 from an exotic pet store in Guatemala.
Oh, no.
You weren't in Guatemala?
Honey, I'm
Okay.
63 years old.
On that same day, there was a purchase of $123 from a restaurant in Guatemala.
No, what the hell am I going to be doing in
You
Guatemala?
weren't in Guatemala?
I am positive. My boss can prove I am at work every day at 4:30 in the morning till 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Sometimes I work till 10 at night.
You've just been pranked by prankdial.com.
Motherfucker!
Funny thing is, we got her again the very next morning. But to the elders of my congregation, this just goes to show you, you don't mess with Vinny and you don't piss Vinny off. Anyways, guys, this is just kind of to a lead up to the information that I had gotten. It's going to be a couple of videos before I get to it, but I just wanted to get that out there. Guys, if you would leave your comments below, and if you come across this video, hit the subscribe button. That'll let you know I'm out here. And I want to thank my subscribers. You guys have a good night, and I'll be talking to you soon.